At the end of this administration, as a strong friend and supporter of this president, and as a strong friend of everybody around this table, I think we've made a complete hash of the, and that's a diplomatic phrase, of the doctrines of war, both domestic and international. We are engaged in an incursion into the sovereign nation of Syria without their permission, against their will. We're trying to criticize Russia for engaging into an incursion into another nation against their will. And we're asserting as the difference that we're doing something good and they're doing something bad. I agree that we're doing something good. I agree that they're doing something bad. But that's not a limiting principle, because everybody's going to say what they're doing is good. And so at the end of this administration, with the complicity of this Congress, I think we've basically come up with a war doctrine that says wherever and whenever, as long as the president feels that it's a good idea, without Congress even needing to do anything about it. The problem is, if that is the rule, and I think that's become the rule, that's a rule that I think will haunt us domestically under future presidents and Congresses that I could see. And I also think it's a rule that can easily be seized by any other nation to basically justify all kinds of things that are horrible. And so we're only 6 months before the end of the administration, an administration that promised 3 years ago, March of 2013, that they would try to work with Congress to revise the 2001 authorization that is currently being used as a justification for actions not only in Iraq and Syria, but Yemen and Africa and the Arabian Peninsula. There has been virtually no work done to put any limiting principle on that, certainly not in any kind of a negotiation with Congress that I'm aware of. And so we're going to basically be in a position where we've turned a 60-word authorization from 2001 with a lot of administrative gloss that wasn't even in the authorization into an all-purpose wherever, whenever domestic justification. And then we've taken common international principles of law, and basically we've decided that if our motives are okay, we can incur into the sovereignty of another nation because we're doing the right thing. But then that takes away our ability to effectively criticize other nations that get into the sovereignty of other nations, as Russia is doing in the Ukraine. So, Mr. Chair, this is not a subject that we're going to resolve today, but as we reach these new milestones of escalation, I'm just going to keep putting on the record a deep concern about the precedent that we're setting for this nation, but also the example that we're setting for other nations.